Okay, hello everyone. This is Red with RedDragonLeo.com. We had a nice little move down today. I don't know if it's the real deal or not. That's still debatable. We basically are still, in this rising trend line here. It's still here, as you can clearly see. Sorry, I'm just getting distracted, just thinking and speaking at the same time, but. Anyway, let me get my pen out. That's what we'll do, and we'll draw some. I love to draw. And, okay, here we go. A little pen. My little pen buddy. Okay. I said this previously when I did two little 5-minute updates throughout the day because I felt this was kind of a critical time. Obviously, this high right here was the Legatus pilgrimage the day afterwards, which was, of course, October the 24th, the first day the market was open, and the Legatus pilgrimage ended on the 23rd on Sunday. So, as it's marked the top in the past, is it going to mark the top here again? I think so. I think so. Now, there's a possibility that we could run this back up again tomorrow and then roll it over before we tank, or we could just gap down. I'm not really sure which is going to happen. I said in the second video that I think it's the second little 5-minute video that this trend line here needs to break, obviously, and they pierced it intraday and then pulled it back. So you gotta think at this point, what are they going to do? And it's a tough call here because I know that ultimately it's going to collapse, but do we run up first a little bit and then break, or do we just break and gap down tomorrow and just keep on going? I don't know the answer to that. But if I look down here, again, you can see down here how low we are already on the full stochastic. So it doesn't have too much further to go down here before it's going to be turning back up. Now again, once the daily rolls over, it can do one of these numbers and again look like this over here, where it just stays buried below the 20. But the daily has not rolled over yet. So you would tend to think that this would at least curl back up and try to retest the 50 and maybe get a little bit higher, but then go back down in a bigger move like a wave 3. So essentially, if this here was a wave 1 down, then we should have some type of wave 2 back up to retrace some of this, and then just finally, just before the day is over with or into the close or whatever, I don't know how fast it's going to happen, just collapse and break that line and start to fall down in a wave 3. That's my thoughts. Now, of course, the other scenario is that we just gap down and continue down first, and then maybe find some support. You could draw you a trend line right here, and get an idea of about where support is right in that area. I wanted to bring down a chart of the ES here and take a look at it so that we can draw on it. And boom, where you at, buddy? Come on, move for me, please. Okay. Daggone it. Let's try this again. Over here, let's try to move this, how about over here out of the way? Okay, so it's not that critical. Okay, so I drew this trend line right here just a little while ago, and this is the ES chart. And as you can see, this is after hours right now. We're up $1.50 while I'm doing this at 8:37 p.m. And of course, this is making a bear flag here, and this is the 4-hour chart. So there is a possibility that we could go down here and hit this support level right here. Now, this thing doesn't like to draw on this for whatever. It keeps deleting it, so we'll just stop it right there. So looking at the 4-hour chart, you can see down here, you can see that we are headed down. I don't know if it's going to hook back up or not. I think once the daily rolls over, it's going to bury itself just like this right here. But there is a possibility that it does one of these numbers and hooks back up. You see how it kind of tried to hook back up and went sideways, then finally collapsed? And look what the market did. It kind of it did one of these sell-offs quickly, and then it ran back up and squeezed out these shorts. And so that's a possibility of what we could have tomorrow to try to hold this other line that the market is on right now. But looking at the ES, you can see on the ES it could go lower to 12.15 very easily. So it's very possible we could gap down in the morning at 12.15 and turn tail and rally back up. And this is also supported on the 2-hour chart as well. As you can see, we're getting oversold here. We're already at just about -4 there. And you can see where we bottomed at down here on the 2-hour chart at -10, -12, something like that. And then here we really bottomed deeply below -15. So, you know, my thoughts are that we could kind of curl this back up first before it breaks down and then crash. So what I'm looking for is a possible early morning gap down to hit this line of support right here. Notice that this is from 5/2/2011. When I hover over this, that is from our May 2nd high. That's where this trend line is. So I kind of get the feeling it's a pretty powerful trend line, and it's going to probably provide a bounce along with the more recent trend line of support drawing from this low to this low to this low. So that's kind of that 12.15 area is a nice little area of support. So it's very possible we gap down and hit that and then turn back up. So that's kind of my thoughts on that. So that's kind of what I'm looking for. Where would that be here? Obviously, it would be a break of here. And come on, baby. Let's move it back over to here. Draw my little thing again. So that would mean that we possibly would break down first tomorrow morning on a gap down and get this oversold right here, deep down, and then curl it back up to squeeze out those people and do what we call a back test. And then we back test it throughout the rest of the day. It just depends now. I'm not sure that this is going to happen, but this is a common pattern that happens. Then you would essentially collapse from there. So if this happens very, very quickly, a gap down and then a retrace very, very quickly, and let's just say it does it by that, I don't know, 11 to 12, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. period, and it peaks out right here, or even 1 o'clock or something like that, then and hits this back test, then you could expect this thing to roll over. Now, if it takes all day to do it, it'll close at the highs or something like that. So it just depends on how fast it does it. But, you know, it's rare that they let the bears get on board. And they had lots of time during this period right here. Lots of candles. These are 60-minute candles. So they had lots of candles to get short at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candles. So that's 6 hours. There's the whole day to get short. They just rarely do that. They usually, you know, will try to squeeze them out at some point. And look at it here. They did the same thing here. They gave them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then they ran it down a little bit. And then boom, they did this little squeeze. Look at that bottoming tail. I mean, a big, huge topping tail on that candle right there. Then they collapsed it. And this is common for these people to do this. Now, it didn't happen here, which, you know, they did give them plenty of time here, and they went down first, and then they came back up. So it didn't happen on that one. But a little bit of a topping tail there. But I just see it a lot that they do this before they really collapse it. And I am looking for a big move down. Everything tells me that, you know, we've got that Karen, what was her last name? Starcher. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. Something like that. On the blog here, I'll pull the blog over here for you in case you haven't downloaded it and listen to it. And that is, again, back here. Yeah, Star Rich, I guess. Sorry about that, Karen. And you can download the interview, clicking there, and start at 63 minutes and 50 seconds in. It's a very long audio. And you can actually start at around 80 minutes. I mean, she talks a bunch at that 63.50, but then going into 80 minutes, and you'll see her talking about a possible flash crash on November the 2nd. And that would really make sense when you come to think of it, just the way these charts are lining up. So at this point, I don't think that we're going to go up to this fake print of 127.07 on the SPY. It's not looking like it, but you know, it's still in the back of my mind. If for some reason, if for some crazy reason, they do something with this euro debt and some announcement tomorrow that the market really loves, then yeah, you could see a gap up, and then if it gaps up and gains some strength, it's going to probably squeeze these bears out. Then we will make a run. So let's just keep that in mind. I'm not expecting that, but I don't know. The more logical thing to do would be to gap down to about that 10-15 area on the ES that I showed you earlier, because that's where some major support is from downward sloping trend lines from the May 2nd high, and then the most recent upward sloping trend line here. It's not this one. It's a different one, obviously. It's actually, well, I guess it's this one right here, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, so that would be the logical course, and then to do a back test, and then to collapse. But I don't know what that's going to, you know, if it's going to do that or not. I just didn't feel comfortable getting short. It was just so controlled. Now again, I do options, so my option really didn't move that much. The one that I was looking to get, it went up on me a little bit, but you know, I'm looking for a bigger move. For people doing futures, you know, that's fine. I mean, they could easily, obviously, when you do futures or stock ETFs, you had a pretty decent move there from 12.56 all the way to 12.30. So you know, so the other wild card here is that if they somehow manage to do something crazy with the euro and fake everybody out, then literally we could gap up, and I don't know how high, but if they run it very well, we could run it and gap up, and you can see a move up there again to that 127.07 SPY print, which is about 1270 on the SPX. It wasn't too far away from it. That's possible. And of course that would turn this back up, obviously, and then we would go up here and put in. So I want to try to give you these couple scenarios, and obviously this would turn back up and try to head back up, and that would be the final squeeze that I would think before they collapse it. I don't feel like that's what they're going to do. I really think that they're going to go down and then back up for a back test, and depending upon how fast it goes will depend upon whether or not it rolls over tomorrow and actually closes down again in a wave 3, or whether it takes its time and goes up and actually closes positive tomorrow. You know, so that's something to be aware of. Looking at the 30-minute chart, and you can kind of see the same scenario. See, we're pretty oversold already here on this, so it could turn up or just, you know, chop around sideways again. Only time I expect it to chop around sideways is when the market just keeps on falling, and that's like in this area here when it keeps chopping around, which it went down like this, and of course the daily charts were already rolling over at that point. The daily charts now are just now turning, so you don't expect it to have a lot of pressure down here at this area, not yet. So that's why I said it's possible it could go back up and then roll over. But once the daily charts, of course, finally do roll over, then you can expect to see this run down here to this -10 or 15 before it turns back up and be like this. But again, we're not there yet. So the more likely thing is for it to turn back up, put in a lower high like this, and for it to work its way up here to put in another negative divergence before it goes back up. So, you know, you could draw this line on out right here, and that would obviously put us at the same position that again about 12.15 or so, on the ES, which is it might be a little bit lower but in that range. It looks like the SPX is about the same, but that could go down there first on a gap down and then turn back up again for our back test, which is possible. So that would take us up to, I can't see it going up this high, but it could. You know, just understand that what we're doing, well, that's not very good, but you're seeing it on the other chart. What we're doing with this Euro thing, you just don't know what their plans are. They're going to try to fake everybody out before they let you on board. So the initial reaction is usually going to be the wrong one. And I think the initial reaction will probably be a rally. And so I think that it'll just shoot right up, rally, get overbought, boom, 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 then go down. We've already got our positive divergence there, and look where we're at right here. We're at what? Negative 2.5. Look where we were here on this sell-off and this sell-off. We didn't go too much further than that. And look where we're at here. You see what I'm saying? On each one of these down moves, we haven't went too deep. Now, none of these were with the daily rolling over, and that's kind of the situation where we're at right now. The daily's just now hooking down, so we could go a little bit deeper, because these here, the daily was pointing up. I think on just about every one of these, the daily was pointing up, and that's why we couldn't get no more than a little bit of a sell-off, a little bit, because the daily was just kind of, you know, keep hooking up, and that's why we couldn't get it. Now, eventually, once the daily hooks down, it's gonna go pretty far negative and hover down there. So on the daily, and here we are on the daily. We'll show you here again, as you can see. Obviously, this was up in the stratosphere. It definitely needed to hook back down, but that does not mean it might do a little hook like this before it collapses. So, we've got all-time extremely low put buying right now, at least from the retailers, the sheep. Everybody's bullish right now, and so and I don't know why, because it's insane to think that you're going to go much higher when look at where you're at already. Even the red line here, the is at 9.5, just under 10, and this one's at 16. This is very very overbought right here, and so you can see it starting to hook there. And I definitely think tomorrow it's gonna hook down, and we're gonna start heading down, and you're gonna get a bearish cross on it as the red goes there and the black goes there. And but that does not mean that we couldn't get a fake out. Like I said, it does not mean that we can't get a fake out. This obviously should finally start to tank, but again, you know, it is still possible that the initial gap down then run back up before they sell it off. And again, how high or how fast, I don't know. We just have to do that intraday, and I'll try to keep you up to date if you're on the blog. We're watching the little videos, and I'll tell you what I'm thinking. But of course, the other scenario is if they gap it up, then yeah, they're going to probably make a run for that right there, the 1270 area. I don't feel that that's going to happen, but I can't rule that out, because we just have to understand that they are going to try to trick us. That's their job. The release of the news today, to even get the market to sell off, in case you didn't realize, early in the morning they released the news that there was not going to be any decision on Wednesday. That was going to be rescheduled, canceled, and so the market didn't like it, and of course the market sold off hard. And then they come back after the market finds a little bottom, and after they've worked off a lot of the after they've worked off most of the short-term charts. How the heck did that get there? Which is the irritating thing. You know, they did this on purpose. After they worked off the 60-minute chart and kind of got it oversold, like down here, you know, they basically they came out and they said, oh yeah, well, we are going to have the meeting. It's going to be a positive result. We're confident about it. The usual BS spin. But the market didn't rally much. It just stopped it from collapsing completely. So But it's all staged. We know it's all staged. So here we are. We're looking at the Legatus top again. And while I think that there will be a bounce tomorrow, I don't know how high. I'm thinking like this: down first, then back up, and that'd be like a wave 2, and maybe close, I don't know, spinning top. Of course, if it rolls over hard, then we could have our wave 3 down, so that's possible too. Don't know for sure. And where was the last Legatus top? Right here, folks. Legatus meeting was there. May the 2nd was when it ended. It was actually April the 30th to the 2nd. Okay, at top there. And of course, it did go down more than one day. 1, 2, 3, 4 days. Then it rallied back up. So if I had to lay odds, I'm going to give it, I don't know, 60-40 that we'll go down first, then rally back up. I do not know if we're going to then come back down and collapse, but that's my odds. That again, from this chart perspective, down first to the 1215 for support, back up for the back test, depending upon how fast, then roll it over. So it'd be like one of these. And that's what I'm looking for tomorrow. And of course, if it does it late in the day, then we won't crash tomorrow. But if it doesn't do it late in the day, if it does this move up very, very quickly, then you can expect this to be a wave 3 down, with this your 2, and then this one here your 1. So this should be a nice wave. So anyway, it looks, I'm looking to get short, and I will look for this for support. And that's it, gang. I can't think of anything else to say. Hopefully these little updates give you an idea. I'm not perfect on it. They're going to change them on me from time to time, and I'll get them wrong. But at least you have an idea of what the levels are, hopefully, and they help you out some. All right, good luck, everyone, and I'll see you on the blog and then stockmarketbloggers.com chat room. See ya.